everyone always says just focus on getting that first software developer jobs. Things will start making sense when you get that first job. For me, that's when the learning really begun at my first software developer job. And there's 3 things that I wish I would have knew before my first job that would have prepared me, that would have made the interviewing progress better for me to get jobs. These are the 3 things that I wish I would have known. And I'm out here filming from Taipei, Taiwan today. It's been nice. I've been here for a week now. It's been raining all day today, and I'm at the park now. Had hot pot, all you can eat hot pot earlier, and that was fun. But I wanted to get to you this video today. So the first thing that I really needed to know about being a software developer is that you have to ask questions a lot. Ask questions liberally. You can't hesitate to ask questions. So on my first job, I'll be given tickets, and then you get a lot of autonomy as a software developer to solve these tickets, to code how you want to solve the business problems need, to write code to solve the business problems need. So you can do it however you want, whatever you think is best. But when you go about coding it, there's a lot of things you don't know. You're working on a code base that you might not be familiar with. You're working with other people. There's documentation out there, but there's not really documentation tailored for your specific business project, which can be tough. So you have to ask questions to figure out the detail. Part of the job, in order to be able to do that ticket, is to ask questions to who you think knows that information. Because one of my first jobs, they'll give me tickets, and I remember just sitting at my desk, not knowing how to do it, twiddling my thumbs all day, and then I finally decided that I had to ask someone for help. And then once I asked for help, I realized that I should have done this sooner, like almost immediately. So you can't worry about bothering people to ask them questions. It's actually part of a job. It's actually not just required, but encouraged. People want you to ask questions because it shows that you're taking initiative. It shows that you care about what you're doing. It shows that you want to understand. And especially with the nature with software development, how broad, vague things are. So you have to make a lot of assumptions. And whenever you have an assumption that you made, you want to question that to the party responsible to make sure you're understanding things correctly. And this is useful for coding interviews as well. If they give you a project, they don't really give you a very detailed project. It usually requires it's usually kind of vague, and you have to ask questions to clarify things and make sure you do the project properly of how they want it. So that's the first step. You have to be able to ask questions. The second lesson I learned when working as a software developer is that you don't want to reinvent the wheel. I remember when I was doing my unpaid internship, I was given this task where it's similar to how, on Facebook, it shows this post was posted 10 seconds ago, 20 minutes ago, on July 30th, 2025, 2024, and so forth. That timestamp of when that post was made. So I had to add that timestamp for the post for the project I was working on. And I remember coding this all out, okay, if it's been seconds, use seconds. If it goes beyond 24 hours, use a date. If it's less than hours, but more than X amount of minutes, use hours, and so forth. And I coded this entire big function up, and I was proud of it. Then it was time for the senior engineer to review the code. And then that's when it struck me, hey, he told me that this wasn't needed. Don't reinvent the wheel. Use an existing library. So, and then I just kind of felt embarrassed. Like I did all that work for nothing. So I learned that like coding relies on a lot of coding problems. There is already an existing solution that you can use, and you have to spend the time to research and find that solution and figure if it's best suited for your need. Like there's a lot of libraries out there of code that you can reuse for your project. And being a good software developer doesn't entail just writing your own code, but using the applicable libraries as needed. So, and then the last thing I wish I would have known beforehand is that there's no unused code in your code base. So like when I was doing my coding bootcamp, doing my own projects, I would have like extra code that wasn't needed, wasn't used, and you need to get rid of it. I remember also I was doing a ticket, one of my first tickets on my job, and I submitted it, kind of nervous about my pull request, and then someone commented on it that says, I don't think this code is being used. And that's when it clicked, like, oh, before submitting any code for it to be reviewed, I need to delete any unused code for it. And this is something I look for when I do code reviews and when I submit code as well. So, because like you have to write clean code, as in you don't want to have anything unused. Another way I like to think of it is like, think of it like this shirt. It's cut from cloth, and there's no like unused cloth on it. Every like piece of cloth on the shirt serves a purpose, just as every piece of code in the code base needs to be used. So those are the three main things. You have to ask a lot of questions. You have to you don't want to reinvent the wheel, and you want to have clean code, remove any unused code. And I use those principles today when I work on my freelance projects. I'm constantly asking questions to my clients because I have to make assumptions, and I don't want to make the wrong assumptions, and I really want to make a good product for them. I think of like good existing software for them to use so they can use the best technology they have for the app, for not reinventing the wheel. And all my code is optimized, is clean. There's no unused code that doesn't serve a purpose. So like if someone else looks at the code, they won't get confused as well. So those are some of the things that I wish I've known before being a software developer that has helped me. So stay tuned for more videos where I talk about my experience and how that shapes me to work as a freelance web developer and just being a better developer in general. Thank you so much.